Hello, this is my build video for a custom Game Boy Advance case. I'm going for a Pokemon theme and color scheme of a Pokeball. So a few things that you need in order to do this is first thing is a Game Boy Advance, a red case, a white case, a screen, a new set of hardware. This is all the buttons, the shoulder buttons, the D-pad, all of that in black, and then finally 2 screwdrivers. There's all of this stuff you can find really easily on eBay, and it is it's pretty inexpensive. So to get started though, we have to open up the case. Now these specialized screwdrivers come with the case purchases, and so the first step, I suppose, is taking out the game and any batteries that are in the machine. After that, there are 6 screws on the back side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and you remove these using that security bit. It's a Y-shaped security screwdriver. There's definitely not a need to buy these. You can buy them, but they come with a lot of these kits. I mean, they aren't super fancy. This one, I'm pretty sure is bent. It certainly feels weird when I turn it in my hand. One of the big reasons that I wanted to recase this, I bought this used, and it's all original, and one way that I can tell is there's some really weird discoloration. A lot of times plastic will absorb things, colors and stuff. I mean, it doesn't stink, but it looks like it's smoke damage or something. Yeah, it's not a good look. So getting something fresh and new was definitely worth it for me. This is actually the first time I've ever taken this apart, so I guess any mistakes that I make along the way will be, you will see. I think this one's out. Alright, so after that you can see I have my void, the warranty sticker still on there. I don't want that to get in the way. So hopefully now this will just come apart quite easily. Oh, alright, I missed one. There's a Phillips head screw right there, so that I will need to remove. That's not a very good angle. Here we go. Now I'm not, usually when I take things apart, I try to keep very close track of all the screws. Again, with a lot of the kits, they give you the screwdrivers that you need, but they also provide you with screws and also this little clear plastic piece for the LED to shine through. Alright, so that pops right off. And one additional thing is there's the battery clips in this case. We have to remove those. Those are really in there. I will mess around with that later. So here it is. I mean, you have all this stuff, like here's the volume potentiometer, the headphone jack, the power switch. All that stuff pops out just really easily. Shoulder buttons pop out. one thing that kind of bums me out is that it seems like some of the discoloration has gotten on the PCB. I mean, I've been playing this device a while, and it works just fine, so it just makes me more curious as to what that is exactly. So there are a few screws holding the PCB in place. We have one here. There's 3 of them, I believe, but where are the others? Maybe this has been opened because, yeah, there should be a screw right there. Alright, that's odd. Yeah, so maybe they were just very careful, the previous owner, in taking off the warranty sticker, that little void sticker. Oh, that's nice. I didn't realize those screwdrivers were magnetic. Maybe they were just very careful in their work of removing the warranty sticker and replacing it. So one thing is these silicone buttons. I've ordered some replacements of these, but they have not arrived yet, and I am feeling too impatient to wait. So I'm actually going to move on and maybe open this up again later. Let's see. I think the screen is stuck in. I want to keep as much of this stuff, like this foam and all of that, in good condition. I don't want to rip it all to shreds. I want this, even though it's going to be quite obviously a custom case, I don't want it to be conspicuous beyond like the coloration. So if you opened it up, I would really like it to seem stock. I'm not doing the backlit screen modification or anything of that sort. Alright, so we have the foam sticker, keeps the screen in place. Now, one thing to be aware of is that these kits, oh no, these kits don't come with replacement foam tape. So if you're like me and realizing as you're taking this apart that, oh gosh, I need to reuse this, be very careful with it. Alright, I'm looking, I'm not seeing, I haven't put any smudges on the screen. Try my best just to kind of set that back down. So there we go, the PCB all removed, and it's looking sharp. Slight noise warning. I do want to like blast this with compressed gas so that I can make sure it's just... I don't plan on opening this up ever again, and so, well, that's a lie. I do plan on opening it up again because I have to replace these pads, the PCB pads. I'm going to have to, off camera, spray these off. There is some built up dust on them, which is understandable. I mean, one, this thing is like almost 2 decades old, possibly, and it's been in pockets and drawers and, you know, a smoker's house, apparently, or at least a house that had a lot of smoke or something in it. And so yeah, I don't want to, gosh, I'm just going to mess that up pretty badly if I keep touching it. So anyway, I'm going to just sort of set that aside and I'm going to prepare kind of the next steps. Now, like I said, you need 2 sacrificial cases, 1 white and 1 red. So I'm going to take the top for the red because the top of a Pokeball is red. I'll take the bottom of the white one, which I don't know. I guess I could have and use create another one with the same kind of color combination later if I really felt inclined. Now, one thing that I noticed, I can't tell if these are. I don't think these are new old stock. I think that I get the suspicion, or I have the suspicion that somebody either bought the molds or made their own molds. They're high quality. All the ones that I have bought are pretty high quality. The only thing is that where some of the injection molding seams were a little rough. So what I ended up doing is I took my X-Acto blade and I would sort of like run it along the edge where there was kind of a rough seam. And, you know, if you've ever done model making or anything, you know how to do it. And, you know, you can just sort of shave off little bits of that plastic really easily, and it cleans up fairly nicely. So there's that. I am going to, we're going to orient this panel. The first thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that this goes in correctly. And I noticed this sticker is, I mean, it's pretty good. So I'm going to lay it down, try to line everything up, and get it in place. This is not seating. When I removed it, I did remove it from the bottom. So maybe I should insert it in the reverse order. So now fold this over. I need to put the buttons down and those silicone, the conductive silicone, but I want to double check the screen, and so I'm going to flip it over. And yeah, I have some of that it's not looking good. Some of that sticker is peeking down there. So what I'm going to do is remove this, and I'm going to try something else. I'm going to attempt to remove that sticker from the screen and attach the sticker first. It's not sticking to the screen super well, and so if I just remove it, because it's not sticking to the screen, it's drooping down, and that's not working out very well. So if I apply it first to this, hopefully we won't have that same issue. So again, I mean, this thing's old. It's not gonna stick as well. So I have to temper my expectations on this. Sort of set this in. My biggest concern with this is just, well, as I mentioned, making sure it looks as stock as possible and maintaining that. And, you know, having this foam tape hanging over the edge is not going to help that very much. You know, one thing to consider is that I believe my screen, which I got to continue my Pokemon theme, has Pikachu and I don't know what that one's name is. That's kind of embarrassing. That screen, I think, will partially obscure the edges, And if it doesn't, when I reopen this, I think I can kind of trim off or maybe replace that sticker. So I'm going to push that in, get a good seat. Oh yes, and then the buttons and everything. Now, like I'm going with black buttons. One, I think the contrast will look sort of nice, and two, the red buttons that I ordered haven't arrived yet. So the buttons are pretty easy to make sure you do correctly because they have these 3 prongs, and B goes on the inside, A goes on the outside, and so those are pretty easy to figure out. Now the original directional pad, it seemed to have some orientation to it. There's like one side that's flat, but this new one does not, and I don't think that'll be an issue. I think I test fitted this before I started the video, and I think it's going to fit no problem. Then we have these side pieces. One thing that I had done, and I think it'll be difficult to tell when it's in use, but it's if you examine it closely, you can tell. That is, there were some seams along. Where's my pointer? Here we go. There were some seams from the injection molding, and I really did not like that. My original doesn't have it, so I didn't want these reproduced pieces to have it. And so I did that same method with the X-Acto knife of scraping this clean, and then I just took not even sandpaper, but it's like a kind of rough woven nylon fabric, and rubbed it against that, and it seemed to buff it out enough so it's not immediately apparent. So these, you can only put these side pieces in the correct way. There's zero risk of messing it up. They have to go on the side that they're designed for, which is nice. It's quite nice that that's the feature that they have. Left and right shoulder buttons. I think you possibly could screw that up if you really tried hard enough, but it's just keep in mind that you're looking at it upside down, and so left is right and right is left. So these have little pegs that they slot into. There's a spot for the spring to sit, so that you get that nice spring back action. One thing that you do not want to forget, and otherwise would be fairly easy to forget, is the power switch. Now I didn't check well, it's off. That's obvious, right? So I'm gonna put this, can't really see. There. Yeah, so the off is on the outside. So it's in the off position, so that will match up. I gotta get this put into the right place. Thankfully, on the conductive silicone pads, they have little tabs with holes in them, and then those match up just right there. So you can quite easily get these in the right spot. And the same goes for the A and B. Now, the A and B, they look, I mean, there is some symmetry to it. If you turn it over, it looks the same. So they put 2 holes of different sizes. So the larger one goes on top, the smaller one on bottom. All right, so that is everything. Now we're going to take the motherboard itself and flip it over and set it in. Hopefully that will go all according to plan. One thing to keep in mind is that the shoulder buttons right there, they'll have to go beneath the plastic shoulder buttons. So as you're flipping it over, I'm pretending like I know what I'm doing. I'm like talking to you like I'm giving instructions, but I really don't. Alright, so I lost one of the shoulder buttons. And aha, there we go. Got the other shoulder button in, right in the right spot. Oh, thankfully, the shoulder buttons can be put into place. Well, I was able to remove them without removing the motherboard. And I can hear the shoulder buttons clicking, and so that is awesome. Everything appears to be in the proper place. So now I'm going to take... Oh, I followed that up. I will be adding this in. This is the LED plastic thing. So I have to take this off. I'm going to flip this over again. And, okay. Where does the LED go? I believe it's right. Where's my old one? Aha, there it is. All right, so, thankfully, the LED button is still right there in the old one, so I figured it out. I've deduced it. Again, all right, so this is a really good example. You probably won't be able to see it, but we have these like little plastic overhang things, and it's just sort of, yeah, they were popped out of the injection molder, and they were not cleaned at all. And so, nobody will ever see that. Nobody will ever see it. I should let it go. I shouldn't be bothered by it, but I am. Because I'll know when I'm playing games on this. I'll know that there's little bits of plastic overhanging this. And it's not perfect. It's not even nearly perfect. All right, that's good. It's good enough. Drat. Yeah, with a lot of this stuff, it is foolproof, nearly foolproof, because there are all kinds of things that will force you to orient it in the proper position. They don't give you a choice. This will fit, and this is how it's going to fit. All right, have that in place. All these plastic bits that I took that time and care to make sure they were put in the right place, they go in the right place regardless. I don't even have to mess around with it. So now here's like a slightly more challenging part. I have, because the company that I bought this from is good, and they gave me the proper amount of screws to attach the motherboard to the case. And so I'm going to see, I know where this one is because I took it out, and then I suspect one is like right here, but I'm not sure where the third one is. So I'm going to take out the old case, and so that's the first one. All right, so then the second one is above the D-pad, and then it appears like there's possibly one right there, but I'll have to double check because that could also be for connecting the back of the case, and I think that is what it's for. Okay, so those 4 at the top are for the top of the case. Oh, maybe 1, 2, 3. What is wrong with me? No, that's not good. This is the non-security bit. non-security bit. Okay. I think that it might be, again, this is like the first time I've done this, so hope that you forgive me for these errors. Alright, there must only be 2 of these screws. Attach this motherboard, 1 on each side, which, I mean, seems certainly more reasonable than the single one that was used to attach. Okay, so I'm having trouble getting this fully seated. I'm going to switch to a better screwdriver. Not the right size. All right. This feels much better. The directional pad doesn't feel quite as good, like perhaps it's not entirely seated. But when I look at that, it does appear pretty good. So there might be an issue with the silicon pad. That could definitely be the issue. When I test this out, I will find out for certain. So I'm going to put all these black pieces back and prepare to close the case. I forgot something critical. I forgot to put those silicon buttons back in. You know what I'm going to do though? Before I do that, I'm going to test this out. I'm just going to see how everything looks. I don't have to remove the spring. That's nice. I don't have to remove the spring of the old case. I won't put that on. Let's just see if it lights up. That's not good. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, there's no game in it. All right, so I have those buttons in place now, and you know this might stand out to you, and it probably should, but there's the buttons, the silicon buttons, because I'm reusing them, are the color of the old ones, and it's sort of like a grayish color and I've looked into ones, just different colored ones, but I could not find any. So I did buy a set that are white. I bought a set of white ones on eBay, and at least they appear to be white in the picture. And, you know, I mean, I think perhaps that will look a little better instead of the sort of like ugly gray color that is on there now. I wish I could have found either black or red, though. I think that that would have fit into this build a lot. I don't know. I think it would have looked a lot better having more cohesion, either matching the top of this case or matching the rest of the buttons. But, you know, just wasn't in the cards, I guess. I do have 3 more of these that I need to screw into place. So, you know, it's nice that the seller includes the security bit screwdriver. Having to screw in these screws, though, to a brand new case, or one, you know, where you're tapping the threads into the plastic as you go. Using such a small screwdriver is just really a bummer. It's like, you know, it's like just slightly too small for my hands. It's not really comfortable. It is bent for sure. It's bent. So, you know, like that adds some awkwardness to it. All right, one more. All right. So I have that. Now, the final thing, I am going to pop the batteries back in. Where did I put those? So I'm going to put the back of the case on. All right, so that is on. And now for the glass. And oh, I noticed just a speck of something on this. Wonder if I can get it with. Alright, I really effed it up. Oh man, that was not. I'm sure somebody watching this video is like, no, not compressed gas. Wait, is it going away? Okay, it seems to be going away. Fan it a little bit. Alright, that's good. So anyway, now I'm going to be putting on the glass, and of course it's not real glass, it's plastic, which I like. I mean, I know a lot of people like to upgrade the screen on these. They like to upgrade the some people upgrade the battery to be like some lithium ion thing that can be recharged with a micro USB. But of course, a lot of people do the AGS 101 screen update or upgrade. But I just like the original stuff. I can't help it. So, oh, this is gonna be fun. All right, there we have it. The mostly completed. Oh, look, there's dust on it already and a fingerprint. Fantastic. So here it is, my Pokeball themed, Pokemon themed Game Boy Advance. you know, just looking at this, I have a big smile on my face. I think it looks so cool. I mean, I can't believe that they didn't sell ones like this. I think about like all the different versions of Pokemon that came out, and the best they could do is like have glass like this. I mean, this is so simple. This is such an easy mod to do. Like, why wouldn't Nintendo do this? All right, here, let me test it out. All the buttons feel really good. Shoulder buttons feel good. And you might be thinking, like, why is he playing Advance Wars? Why did he make a Pokemon-themed Advance and not have a Pokemon game to put into it? And I'm working on it, man. They're expensive. These are not, you know, they're not cheap games. And also, I mean, Advance Wars is like, it's one of my favorite games when I was growing up. It's just fantastic. So much fun to play. But I'm not going to play it right now. I'm going to turn this off. And, you know, I'll put in the description of this video the link to the store on eBay where I bought most of this stuff. And it's a good store. I think the prices are fair. I got to say, like, the screw situation is kind of unacceptable. It's not bad enough to, I wouldn't say don't buy parts from the guy, but, you know, if you don't have, you know, keep the screws you got. Otherwise, you're gonna be hurting when it comes for build time. On the back, so one great thing that this dude does is he also has these stickers. So, I mean, as you can see, like this, the original one, it has the Gameboy Advance, I guess, like product sticker, and it has like all the ratings and patents and warnings and all that stuff right on there, and it's really cool because you can get those. I'm not putting this one on, and the reason is that I found some even better ones. I found some Pokemon themed stickers, both for this area right here, and then also up here where the product number would be, and so or serial number. So I'm gonna wait for that. This is a cool touch that he sends these with it, so it can add to the authenticity of it. Because it just looks this is very stark and naked back here. So having that all together would be pretty. And I was also thinking about doing like a SNES Super Famicom version of a Nintendo Game Boy Advance. So yeah, if you like this, I don't know, do whatever you want. I don't